The winter update aka 11.5 is the last update for 2024, and for the most part it's okay, but some questionable choices were made. This is First 7 Days, a series where I give my first impressions on the first 7 days or the first week of an update, so anything added, removed, or changed past December 17th will not be mentioned. I will mention I didn't play for the first 4 or so days of the update, and that while I did play on the 18th, this was around 12 AM in Dubai time, so in most parts of the world it was still the 17th. Let's first talk about the round pool, and I can't believe it's been over a year since I got vaulted, but Seesaw is back. And if you had asked me what map I thought was going to come back, I would have said Freezy Peak, but Seesaw? I don't know, I'm not a fan of Seesaw, but as someone who wanted all of the Unity maps back in the game, I'm glad to see it's back. But what I find odd is that the official Fall Guys Twitter page made a tweet saying that Seesaw is back, and they attached this screenshot of Seesaw and it looks different. And unfortunately, I didn't get to play Seesaw during my playthrough, but I did find a video of someone playing it and it looks completely normal and nothing like in the screenshot. So I went onto the Fall Guys wiki, and apparently it is an old screenshot and it just feels misleading to tweet this. Like, you couldn't have used the current splash image. I was low-key excited to see this version of Seesaw, but whatever, I guess. Either way, Seesaw is a knockout, solos, squads, and duos. While any unvault is better than nothing, not bringing back Freezy Peak, especially during the winter update, is just so lame. On the 17th of December, they refreshed Creator Spotlight and it contains 20 maps made by the community. I haven't played Creator Spotlight in a while, so I cannot give my opinions on the levels featured. Not gonna lie, it seemed odd how they refreshed the Spotlight mode near the end of the 11.4 update, because it would have made sense to refresh it at the start of 11.5, aka the winter update, along with everything else. Maybe it's something they'll start doing in 2025, but for now, who knows. The fact that this pass has a Western theme is pretty baffling and also kind of questionable. Most, if not everyone, was expecting a winter themed pass like we got last year. However, instead we got Western, and hear me out, I think this is a 1000 IQ big brain play, cause check it out. When you think of winter, you think of snow and ice, right? However, due to climate change and or space aliens, winters are becoming warmer, and with the way things are going, winter as we know it are going to be stories we tell our grandchildren. Now, what is a warm winter? Summer. And what is summer known for? Being pretty hot. And when you think of westerns, you most likely envision it being set in summer, which is what winter will be in a few decades, which is why the Western Pass is set on winter. Also, westerns are usually synonymous with outlaws, bandits, and people brandishing their own brand of justice on evildoers. At least I think so. I've never seen a western movie, so. This is Mirotonic's warning about what will happen if things remain as they are. Honestly, give the folks at Mirotonic a Pulitzer Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, the Olympic medal, just give them everything. When you learn that this pass will last for 2 months or till February 4th, it starts to make sense why they didn't go for a winter theme, because having a winter themed pass in February would be weird, and they probably made it this long due to Epic Games going on holiday, and so that they can focus on the next update, or maybe even next few updates. And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a ballsy move to make a non-winter themed pass, and honestly, I'll respect that. The streak of fame passes not having a proper name is finally over. For those who don't know, this began with the introduction of March 2024, in which they were named after the month they released in. This is the second pass in 2024 to have a proper name. The first one being Scales and Tails, which was released in January. The fact that we have a porta potty skin is just hilarious, and I just cannot stop thinking of Shrek every time I see it. And the Sheriff skin just looks awesome. And only Fall Guys can make a skin out of dynamite look this good. And I will legit wear the lower half of the Prospector skin since it matches well with the work upper that I usually wear. And I just can't hate on the Gecko skin, it looks adorable. But listen man, you have a Western or Wild West themed pass and you didn't include a Western style shootout as a celebration. It is just one of the most iconic thing about Westerns. It is just such a wasted opportunity. Like, you could have had them playing pretend and using their fingers as guns, and you could have carried over the green screen aspect by having the backdrop be an old Western style town or whatever. The minecart celebration goes on for too long and just nothing exciting happens. It just sucks, and I will not be using it. This is also the first Fame Pass to give out full crowns. The last time you got full crowns in the past was all the way back in Legacy Season 6, back when it was called the Fame Path and before Fall Guys went free to play. Although they would give out 60 shards, which is basically 1 crown, but regardless, it's nice seeing full crowns being given away again. Releasing a non-winter themed pass during winter is definitely a weird choice, and it just definitely ruins the whole winter Christmassy vibe that usually is present during December. I'm not someone who celebrates Christmas, but it's just nice seeing the whole holiday festive, you know? It's just a whole vibe. But I will say, it lasting for 2 months does give people plenty of time to finish the pass, so that's nice I suppose, but the pass is pretty mediocre all things considered. Let's hop onto Fall Guys Creative real quick. The most exciting addition is the ability to change an object's material. They introduced one material type, that being slime, which is honestly the most iconic material in all of Fall Guys, so it makes sense why they introduced it. This honestly opens the door for things they could add, like stone, wood, and marble as material types. What's awesome is that you can also change the color of the material, which means you can make the slime look like lava, especially since we have the custom color picker. You can sort of make it look like water, although up close you can tell it's not since it has a thick viscosity to it, but that's besides the point. If you touch any object that has a slime material property applied to it, you'll respawn. This is of course if you're in the course and points game mode anyways. I could see people making some incredibly looking maps with materials now being a thing. With you being able to apply to shapes, you can make projectiles or slime structures, and in the future, if they introduce things like stone, which will add texture, I could see some maps just being showcases for some absolutely beautiful structures, much like a museum. All in all, I love this addition and just the potential it unlocks. After over a year, we finally got a budget increase, and it's only by 500, which is pretty underwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. Although any increase is better than nothing, but couldn't you have done at least 1,000 like last time? I suppose they don't want to go too high since it could cause problems for lower end hardware like the Switch or some mobile devices, but that's just speculation on my part. Miotonic added 5 western maps into Knockout, and also their winter variations, I'm saying that with air quotes, into a separate LTM called Frosty Frolics. I managed to play all the maps, well except for the western version of Clumsy Caverns. For the life of me, I could not get that level in Knockout. The winter variations do have some minor or some major differences between the two, but that's just mainly cosmetic. Since I didn't get a chance to play the Knockout version of Clumsy Caverns, I'll talk about the winter variation instead. When I first played this map, I was frustrated to say the least, mainly on the section with the incline and the rolling balls, because no matter what I did, I would always respawn. However, after a few games, I got the hang of it, and I knew where to go, and now I'm able to breeze through the section without respawning. And can I say, I just love the slime tunnels and how they gave it eyes and teeth. The first tunnel looks like it's chewing on the blocks, which is such a nice touch. And this is a strange thing to glaze about, but I love the way the trees look. Though I'm not a fan of the minty green color that's used throughout the map. And this goes for all of the winter variations. I just like the colors used in the Knockout versions like 20 times more. I don't know, to me it just feels like the colors used in the winter versions feels like it was all cobbled together in the last second. The section with the rolling pin and you having to get into the hole to avoid it is pretty creative. Well, in this game anyways. I always get impatient, which ends up with me respawning, but if you take it nice and slow, you'll make it through it every time. And overall, I just like the little pink slime pool they put in the winter variations. Overall, this was a level that I didn't like at first, but as I got better, I started to enjoy it more. It doesn't feel overly long, and it has multiple sections to break out the monotony. And with the inclusion of the slime tunnels, it's basically a cool way to transition you into the other sections. Let's talk about Gold Rush. This level is basically whack-a-mole, and this map is just an eyesore in Frosty Frolics, whereas it looks much better in Knockout. In Frosty Frolics, this map is a team level, which I wasn't expecting, and it does make sense. As previously mentioned, this is just whack-a-mole, but the pillars go back in way too quickly, and there's also a delay on some of them, which is actually the chaos as you're constantly roaming around. The pendulums hovering over the rubber chicken got annoying real quick. I'm just not a fan of this level altogether. At least it's not super long in Knockout, so that's a plus I suppose. Goopro Rodeo is up next. I think the map looks fine in both variations, but again, I prefer it in Knockout. I do wish they put a barrier around the map, as it being too open doesn't look that great honestly. The level can get quite intense near endgame because you don't have a lot of tiles left and the fruits are being shot. Honestly, I could be tripping, but I feel like the tiles fall faster and more of them do in Knockout than in Frosty Frolics. Either way, this level is the most basic looking one they've added in recent memory, but I had fun, and really, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Slime Ball Showdown is a level that I played a ton in Frosty Frolics, to the point where I was getting this map back to back, and with being able to make slime balls that kill you upon contact, this is the most obvious level they could have added. And god, I just adore how this level looks in Knockout, especially the blue slime. I just love how the little barrels on the side, it just really invokes that sort of western theme. And I like the idea of the level, and it's more creative than Goop Roop for sure, but it just feels a bit monotonous and sort of boring. But I suppose that's a me thing. Some people might like how chill and relaxed the level is. The makeshift batons and glove add a bit of chaos and makes it to where the balls don't move in the same spot every time. Though I do wish there was something else to the level, like maybe some small trapdoors at the bottom that open up every once in a while, or maybe near the end game they actually decide to give out like punchers or like little carryable fans or just something to sort of make it go by faster. Just something to spice it up a little bit. But I'd say the level is okay and certainly one of the better survival levels added. Let's go on over to the Slime Saloon. This level takes huge inspiration from Gate Crash and if anything sort of improves on it by adding the section in which the slime gets pushed that bounces back with the help of a drum. If you know how to play Gate Crash, you know how this level works. It really leans into the Western theming and I love that. If anything, I feel this is one of the best levels to showcase the whole Western theming. In this level, you're basically sort of in the mines. Also, the barrels of slime being poured out is just such a nice detail. Definitely my favorite looking level they've added in this update. And the winter variation doesn't look that bad either. I do love how they changed the pusher with the slime into a gift box. This is such a dumb thing to complain about, but I would say the slime gates do move a bit too fast, but low-key it's kind of whatever. At the moment, after playing the game for a little over 3 days, I'd rank the maps as follows: Gold Rush, Slime Ball Showdown, Clumsy Caverns, Gooper Rodeo, and Slime Saloon at number 1. This is the first time we've seen Miotonic release variations, but it doesn't act like a variation in the traditional sense, in which you have a chance of getting it when playing a game of Knockout or whatever. It's a whole separate level. They even have separate share codes. I love the idea of them making different versions of levels that have a particular theme, and if used sparingly, it could make the variations feel special. The winter variations were made to be played with a squad, which I was shocked to see, but having one variation or one set of maps be squad based and the other solo based and lets you experience levels slightly differently. In my opinion, I feel they should have added the winter maps to Knockout and made an LTM for the Western versions. And you might say, what about the live event? And yeah, what about it? You could just change the challenges to say Knockout instead of Frosty Frolics. On the other hand, with how rare it is to get the new maps for some reason, I could see it being annoying to finish, and the argument could be made that trying to finish a winter themed event in a mode that has mostly non-winter maps might spoil the mood. So there's positives and negatives to everything. But I still think it would have been better if the winter maps weren't squad based and were added in Knockout. There really isn't that much changes that I could find within the first week, but the big one is that the skybox in the lobby has changed from classic to winter for obvious reasons. And I'll be honest, I kinda like it. Although the following skybox was my favorite, but the winter skybox is far better than the classic one in my opinion. They added a new section in the game's letter called Player Made and pushed classic games to the bottom. While not important and people who want to play it will, there is a psychological effect to putting things at the bottom. It makes you prioritize the things at eye level and just forget about everything at the bottom. This is how grocery store works and why they try to stack the most important items at eye level. Now onto the challenge board. They added a Penguin challenge to the dailies, although stupidly enough, it doesn't count towards the weeklies, which is just whack. This is something I read while on the Fall Guys wiki, and I'm not sure where they got this from. I assume it's probably like social media or Discord, but they said that cheaters can now be banned permanently from Fall Guys as of this update, whereas before they could be banned but only for temporarily or for like for 24 hours. You mean to tell me that cheaters wouldn't be banned permanently? Like, I'm sure in some cases, in some like fringe cases, they would be banned permanently, but like the fact that matter is that you weren't permanently banning cheaters. Like what? I mean, I'm glad it's a thing now, but not banning them forever is just the dumbest thing I've read this year. Like I'm just flabbergasted. God, this company just infuriates me sometimes, man. But anyways, before I go on another tangent, let's just move on. With the release of 11.5 came the release of Frosty Frolics, which as you know features the winter versions of the 5 western levels featured in Knockout and Penguin Palooza, in which every level has a penguin. Much like Treat Thieves in 11.3, it will stay for the entirety of the update. While those are nice and all, let's talk about the big one, that being the return of Time Attack. I genuinely never thought they would bring this back. This mode was gone for 2 years and they added new levels to this mode, those being Dizzy Heights, Space Race, and Tundra Run. Although Skylar Tumble was supposed to appear but got removed on the 16th, which was a day before the mode was supposed to release, and they also reworked how the mode works. Before, there used to be these bubbles that had clocks, or I think chronometers they're called, but when you touch them, it freezes the time for a set amount of seconds. Bronze freezes time for 1 second, silver for 3 seconds, and gold for 5 seconds. However, now the bubbles are gone, and it's based on who can get the fastest time, and there can only be one winner. Before I forget, there's a challenge event tied to Time Attack called Winter Mastery, and where you have to win 5 games of Time Attack, which remember means you have had to get the fastest time in order to do so, and thankfully it only took me 9 games to get the 5 wins necessary. I played a game of Dizzy Heights where someone let a baton smack themselves forwards and they got a pretty good time, and I just couldn't catch up no matter how hard I tried. I've also had multiple games of Space Race where the pipe shoots me off the map and I have to respawn, which basically just kills my run. Or there are times where I get unlucky and end up face planting on the ion thrusters, or even times where I just land weirdly and that basically ends up costing me milliseconds, which matters in a mode like this, because remember, the qualification is only 1%. So it suffice to say it was an absolute sweat fest. Although I've been on both ends, the one getting absolutely destroyed and the one destroying the lobby. I played a game of Lily Leapers and where I got a 26-second run and the lobby was slowly leaving to the point where it was just me and this absolute giga chad. We were just chilling and using our emotes and generally having a good time. This is also a good time to bring up the fact that they also removed body blocking, which I always thought was removed, but I guess not, but that doesn't matter now. And honestly, I'm glad they decided to remove body blocking, because trust me, there are times, especially in Little Leapers, where you're trying to go onto the same spot and just body blocking off somebody and just basically killing a run is absolutely terrible. So good on them for removing body blocking. I genuinely do not know why they thought having only one fastest player taking the win was a good idea, but it's not, especially when in the old Time Attack you had multiple winners if I recall correctly. But I am happy to see Time Attack back. I'm not gonna lie, man, I would have made the reward be a long cactus instead of the snow bean variation. Like, I know the whole winter update, you know, the whole winter thing, snowman, all blah blah blah, but like, you have a western theme pass, maybe you should have had one of your live events or challenge events have sort of a western theme reward. Now let's talk about the Snow Beans Frosty Frolics live event, which was released right on time for this video, that being the 17th. And I'll be honest, I haven't even touched the event at all and was focused on finishing the mastery event, which also came out on the 17th alongside Time Attack Shuffle. Let me quickly mention some bugs I found. The one in which the background goes black and your character has a red and blue outline is still here, and the first time I found this bug was in the 11.3 AK following update. When I previewed the minecart celebration, the lighting on the plinth glitched out, and well, it's better if I show you rather than try to describe it to you. The light seems to be flickering, and I don't know, man, I just love the way this looks. Unlike most lighting glitches, this one carried over to the game's searching screen, and thankfully I've only experienced 2 game crashes, but I did hear other platforms aren't as lucky. I've had this bug happen to me a few times while playing Time Attack. Basically, whenever I'm falling and I know my run is over, I'll hold the respawn button. However, instead of putting me at the start of the level like it normally should, it actually spawns me into the previous checkpoint, and I'm not actually able to respawn as I don't have the option to do so. After what feels like an eon, they finally fixed the bug and where the text would misalign when scrolling in the shop. I'll show you some footage so you can see what I mean. See how the text is misaligned? However, this is what it looks like in the 11.5 update. I just got so used to seeing the text be out of line, so this fix wasn't something I noticed right away. Another fix is in creative mode. When selecting multiple tags, it now displays them as intended, whereas before, if you selected any of them, it wouldn't show it properly. Then, when you deselected one, it would then show you both the tags you had previously selected. This was just super annoying, but now it's been fixed, which is awesome. We got a bunch of free content in this update. The first free thing we got was a full skin, and this was given away as compensation according to the newsfeed. I'm not exactly sure why or what the issue was. If you happen to know, comment below and let me know. The skin is basically a gingerbread house, and it looks pretty nice in my opinion. Although this skin was given due to compensation, so if these issues never happened, we might have never gotten a free full skin. Whereas in 2022, we got the Slope Rider skin for free, and this was during Season 3 Second Secrets, by the way. Genuinely, I thought they gave away a full skin last year, but I guess not. And as much as I want them to start giving out free full skins every December, that's probably not gonna happen unless we get like some sort of bug in where they give us a compensation skin. They'll probably start giving away emoticons, stickers, and just a little bit of kudos. Like, I understand you're basically a soulless corporation now, but couldn't you have given us a free full skin from the kindness of your heart or whatever is remaining? Like, on top of what we got, it would have been nice if you gave us like a kudos wearable at least. Later on, we would get a free emoticon, phrase, and also 2,000 kudos, and as someone who has over 300,000 kudos, this is basically pennies, but hey, it's free, so what's not to like? And I'm sure it helps someone to be able to buy a skin or cosmetic they've been eyeing on for a while. After 4 months, we finally got new kudos mastery skins, and I'm gonna be honest, these skins just look bad. I mean, I still bought them because what else am I going to do with all these kudos? For now, it looks like we'll get mastery skins every 3 to 4 months, which does give people ample time to accumulate kudos. Let's hope they add some kudos wearables because we haven't had any since May if I recall correctly. Nowadays, wearables cost Showbucks, and I seriously hope they consider adding emoticons and phrases that you can buy with kudos, but I doubt they will since you can buy them with Showbucks. But hey, a man can dream, right? What are your thoughts on the first week or the first 7 days of the winter 2024 update? Comment below and let me know. And thank you to our Max Store members for your support as always.